If you're ready to take back control of your health, you're in the right place. Welcome to Awaken Wellness with me, Tanya Candy, registered nurse and health coach. Now, I'm not your typical nurse. I consider myself divorced from traditional healthcare. I broke free of the sick care system in 2019 when I realized that the root cause to my sickness, my autoimmune disease, and my chronic pain was me. If you're ready for truth, for clarity, for honesty in a tough, love, compassionate way, I'm the coach for you. Join me while we dig into our root causes of sickness and disease. Right. Hello. Welcome in Facebook community. So everybody out there listening live or on the replay, I need your help. Once again, Meta does not like the things that I have to say, and my account is being restricted or it's not being shown to people. So I always say, if you find value in anything, please follow, like, share, tags, do all the things. And now it really matters more than ever since those restrictions are in place. Whatever I said, I can't imagine what it would have been. Maybe it was that post that I just reposted. It wasn't even my post about allergies, your immune system, and vaccines. It was pretty interesting. Make sure you go and read it. I've kind of learned that when it comes to this really controversial stuff, I don't even say it anymore. I just repost it. All of that being said, I would love it if you go to my website, awakenwellnessllc.com, and just either take the little quiz on my chatbot or sign up for a subscription so you get my blog post when they come out so you can find me. If I all of a sudden disappear off of social media, I hope that we can stay in touch. I am also streaming over on YouTube. There's not many followers over there, but I am growing that. It's called Awaken Wellness TV. So that's another place that we can find each other if the day comes when I permanently disappear from social media. So before I went live today, I really didn't know what I was going to talk about. So I might as well just go with updates and let you know what's going on, what's in store for Awaken Wellness. Last week, we had a really fun event. We went over to Williston and just threw up a wellness fair. It was great. It was myself plus 7, I think, other vendors, wellness advocates. We were doing free demonstrations. That evening, I did a peptide talk, and it was amazing. Absolutely wish the turnout would have been better, but we have to start somewhere. We have to plan these things and be brave. It was on a Thursday. Some people were like, why would you pick a Thursday? Well, for one thing, I wanted to do it in May, and there is no free weekend in May. I'm not sure there is all summer, right? So sometimes we just try to make the weekdays work. In May, weddings, graduation, and then, in the all summer, you just want to do something fun outside. We had it at the Arc. It was, so nice. What a facility. I hope at some point our community has a facility like that. I'm here in my office. In our building, we don't have central air. We have window air conditioners. So every room is a completely different temperature. And my office, I just rearranged my desk this morning so I wasn't sitting right in front of the window air conditioner. But I'm going to be wearing sleeves and a jacket all year so we can help cool the front of the building. So, hands up, do you still have window air conditioners? It is a challenge, right? Other fun updates tomorrow in Sydney at 6 p.m. I am having another Power of Peptides chat. It is at a cute little coffee shop in town at 6 p.m. The coffee shop is called The Parlor. It's right on Central. I don't plan on doing that live stream. It wouldn't be hard, I guess, to do. Maybe I will. I did get some feedback from some South Dakotans live stream from the Williston event. So you never know who's going to watch live or who's going to be on the replay. I'm trying still to get my protein shake in. Show of hands, who does the protein shake? Again, I can't say that I love protein shakes. This one is basic. Chocolate protein powder from LAMD. It does have 29 grams of protein, as well as some prebiotics, some fiber, lots of good stuff. I have got these little like coffee-ish drinks. Can't think what the name of the company is, but I've got a matcha or this one. I just put that in. They've got some adaptogens, they've got some medicinal mushrooms, and they're oat based. So oat milk based. I just pour one of those in ice and my blender. I am not a fancy shake person. So that for updates. Other fun updates. So I'm still kind of working out the process. This is more for distance clients. Maybe it would be good for younger ones, maybe for kids. But this BioBox, I don't know about you, but I see them all over in my feed. I'm trying to enhance how I can work conveniently with you virtually or from a distance. We love to start working together with your blood panel. So, whatever blood panel you have currently, sometimes we can build from that. Or if you need labs, we don't bill insurance. Everything, honestly, is just kind of cheaper than you'd think when you pay out of pocket. This kit is going to be so handy for our distance clients. And I will have a process on my website where you come to the home page, you click that review, the root cause of review is what that appointment's called. If you don't have labs or if you don't live close to me to get those labs drawn, and we can send a full kit. Like you can go locally somewhere and get those drawn. That works too. And it's hard on the website because I want to be the least amount of choices, the least amount of confusion, so you can just walk through this process easily. Because people these days don't think it's easy to pick up the phone. In all honesty, it would be way easier just to pick up the phone and call Awaken Wellness than to try to do this on the website. But it every generation, that's not what anybody wants to do anymore is pick up the phone. Me included, me included. Speaking of that, I had this catastrophe where I was getting on a plane an hour before my phone broke. And through that process of getting things figured out, ironed out, fixed, restarted, I found out I can take our landline here at the store and transfer that number to Verizon so we can text. So that's going to be cool. I have that in the works. I had no idea until I had this catastrophe juggling phones situation that would work. So let me make sure I can see comments. Yeah, if anybody's here, I should be able to see comments. So let's back to this BioBox. So it will ship to you from the lab company. We order it and it ships to you. It is this, I don't know, can you see that? There's a glare on her arm. I was thinking I was going to do this morning myself. This kit has got my name on it. I was thinking I would just do it, but I forgot. It should be fasting, and I forgot this morning. So that picture, it's all backwards. I cannot find it. Right here. It just goes in her arm. So it kind of looks like a continuous blood sugar monitor, is what it reminds me of. The kit comes with this heat pack, so that if they want you to activate this and put it on where you're gonna put the little blood draw thing on and warm it up first. And then the kit looks like this. So this red piece is it just pops in your arm and it's got a needle in it. You don't, if it's like anything like a continuous blood sugar monitor, you really barely feel it at all. And then there's a little vial right here that collects the blood. I'll see if I can show you that picture again. And I will, when I get organized, demonstrate it. See how that's just kind of right in her arm? Really super easy. The thing is that you can't collect a ton of information with that little of blood. So what I think I'll do is roll two packages together. So when you do it, that's what I'm going to do for myself too. You actually have to have two little kits, and then you're going to collect them, and this goes out through the UPS. Between you and me, our area, I prefer working with UPS, so that's great. That's called a BioBox. If you're interested in how that works, again, pick up the phone and call Awaken Wellness. I encourage that. Or check it out on the website. Now, on the website, there's a couple of things that I don't love how they're working that I need to tighten up. So if any of you want to kind of go through that process and give me some feedback, that would be awesome. So on my website, the homepage, click the the root cause reset appointment, and just follow the prompts. To pay, it's going to take you over to PayPal, a PayPal link, and then it will bring you back. That's the process I kind of have to work on a little bit. So it doesn't seem so clunky. If you want to use HSA or a health FSA, you can do that by calling the store. My system that we use at the store does take health savings cards. So there's that. And then while we're talking about tests and fun things that we do at Awaken Wellness, I want to talk about this Genomic Spotlight test. So it is a really simple saliva test. They updated it on me. I don't remember now if it's a spit in the cup or swab your cheek. Let me look. It's super easy. And it is going to test your genes. It's a cheek swab. It's going to test your genetic profile. So why might we want to know what our genetic profile looks like? Well, when we talk about this, it's not like 23andMe. It's not like that. And they don't use your data for weird things like 23andMe. Why it doesn't have anything to do with ancestry, but why you would maybe want to know what your genetics are like are this test breaks your results down into, I think it's 8 different categories, maybe 6. And it lets you know how you methylate. What does that mean? How does your body move energy, or what does it need to create energy? All of your hormones, all of your toxins have to be moved through phases in your liver. And there's detox, that is one of the categories, and there's methylation, that's another category. Inflammation is a category, longevity is a category, digestion, bones and joints, and memory, I believe, or brain cognition is a category. So the SNPs that this kind of testing is looking at, it's not the genes that like determine what your eye color is going to be, or what your stature is going to be, or what your skin color is going to be. Those are genes, obviously, that we cannot manipulate. The genes this is testing are more like light switches. So you'll have one copy, you'll have two copies, or you'll have the wild copy where it's benign or it's negative. And this test is going to say, like for me, the MTHFR, there's 2 different genes there. The one, I have got the double whammy. So it's a good chance that that is going to be a little bit problematic for me. There's a good chance that's going to be triggered or turned on. The other copy, I've got 1 positive, 1 negative. So that one's, a little bit more iffy. things that can flip on or flip off these genes to express themselves in a way that's not beneficial for your body are stresses, toxins, traumas, high fever, like viral, bacterial, even I do think some certain medications, or depending on the situation that the body was under and the added stress that goes with it. Some of these genes are really like anxiety and depression can be flipped on and can be flipped off. And so it's not just life circumstances that play into all these factors, your genes also play into it. And I just had a 2-hour consultation as a client with one of my colleagues that does a different genetic test. So it was super, super eye opening. I had done a genetic test for myself years ago, but never really sat down with somebody to go over it. Then, of course, the whole idea behind it is when we test with Designs for Health, then they will point us to their line of products and what is the best product to support that part of your genetic profile. So, for instance, um, a client of mine, I thought for sure, just the way her symptoms are, the way her body was feeling, that she would have some MTHFR issues, and she didn't. So if we were just going off of her symptoms and grabbing supplements to support her symptoms, we would have been pretty off base. What was interesting in her panel was her real problem was inflammation. And we all experience inflammation. Our body makes inflammation for multiple different reasons. Her main problem with that homocysteine or that inflammation was that her body genetically was somewhat handcuffed or handicapped when it came to the clearing it. So for her, just rapid weight gain, being real puffy, and then not being able to lose weight, even with calorie restriction, even with calorie in, calorie out thinking, not working. And she wasn't in her 50s, she was only in her 20s. So knowing how to help your body mitigate that homocysteine and lower that inflammation is kind of a big deal. Another, really for me, one of the gene markers that stands out that people don't think about are is that CMT gene, so that comp gene. And there again, there is a family of things at play there. It's not just one thing. But that comp gene has a lot to do with hormone clearance, um, just everything. It all ties in. My genetic profile, looking at it yesterday, just that inflammation is a big thing for me too. It's hard genetically for me to clear in that category of the test. I had a lot of red. So the green ones are good, the yellow ones are kind of neutral in the middle, and the red ones are pay attention, this SNP could be causing you some problems. So what I found super interesting is I didn't know what these genes look like at the beginning of my healing history. Would I have done things differently? I probably would have been way more diligent with my B vitamins, with that MTHFR had I known. Lucky for me, my detox pathway genes are pretty good. They're pretty well set, but they still need that methylation in the beginning to create that energy cascade. So maybe I would have done things different. If you're listening and you're kind of at the beginning of a healing journey, or the gene test, especially for kids, is so amazing because you can really connect a lot of even behavior problems if they've got learning problems. You know, if you know they're sensitive to food dye, but like it doesn't seem like the rest of the kids in their classroom are, it's not the food dye, it's something in their genes. There's something flipped on. There's something that needs a little extra support, needs something that other kids don't need. Or if we think about vaccine injuries, right? We know that this is real. We know that vaccine injuries are real, but we also know that they don't affect everyone equally. Some people are completely seem to be unaffected by their vaccine history, and other people seem like they changed in an instant, or problems developed. Maybe it's a weird skin rash. Maybe it's a behavior. Maybe it's loud, like sensitivity. They can't take noise. They can't take stimulation. Like all of these things are potential triggers. And again, the the components were the same from vaccine to vaccine. The difference was the person it was given to. Something was different about them, that their body could not handle what was put in it, whether it's that methylation pathway or the detox pathway, or even that cognition, that brain inflammation. So it's a great test, especially for kids, is super non-invasive. Um, just have to do that cheek swab and send it in. And it can really help you figure out how to support even your toddlers so they can learn better in school, so you can tolerate them buzzing around your house. Really, it's really great, and it's super affordable. I'd have to switch screens to tell you how much, but I do believe the test with the consultation is probably around $500, which for the kind of information that it gives you, that is actually priceless. And I think the sooner you know that in your healing journey, I mean, it's fun to know, it's fun to test no matter where you're at in the journey. But especially with that genetic test, coming in early is totally worth it. It's not a quick test. The turnaround can take even a couple months. I've had my share of frustrations with the company. I've been here, since they first started offering it, and there's been some transitions. So I'm hoping it will go smoother. But I do tell people when we send in those results, just put on your patient pants. It might take quite a while before that comes back. Another young man we had tested, he had done some medical genetic testing and knew that that MTHFR wasn't an issue. But what he was going through, even I think he was 8, 6 or 8, somewhere along there, what he was going through, even his body stature, being overweight, the health issues he was having, told me something is definitely up. Maybe it's not the MTHFR, but something isn't isn't right. The detox pathway is the what isn't right. And he, like, looking at it early, that test told us that it's going to be really important. His gut lining is going to be fragile, like processed foods, anything processed, high process, preservatives, stuff like that is going to be hard on him. Leaky gut wrecks the rest of the body. In that test, we saw when he gets into puberty, he's going to have some trouble. His body's going to want to produce estrogen over DHT. We can see that in the genetic test. So if you know how to support them, even going into puberty, to help their hormones optimize instead of going in a direction that isn't their benefit, isn't going to help them live their best life. The detox pathways were rough, were really rough, which I was not surprised, because we knew that the symptoms he was having, and we had done a toxification test, so a urine test that shows us how much toxins are in there. For just a little guy, he had like the toxic load of a 40-year-old. So that's where I was like, we really need to see what this genetic profile looks like, because obviously this detoxification needs some help. It's not optimized, it's not working like we need it to. So toxins building up in the body, it's a big deal. It's a big problem. So anybody with chronic disease, what we do here is all about cellular level restoration, cellular level detoxification. Can you do these things without any of this functional testing? I mean, yeah, you can, but having the functional testing and having a target is an invaluable tool. And people can see it in black and white, so it's measurable. As we do this work, people naturally will go through slumps. They'll go hills and valleys. They'll have times when they feel defeated. They'll have times when they think they got it all figured out. And then, boom, all of a sudden, nothing is the same and nothing seems to be working again. So, when we have a foundation of testing, whether it's blood, urine, saliva, stool, we have baselines and we have something to go by. A lot of people, when they're chronically ill, when they have no extra energy, when they're just tired, they have really identified with that sickness. And really, that is the tough part about any diagnosis is you pair your mental with it, like whether it's my anxiety or my diabetes or my cancer or my Crohn's disease, we that becomes part of our identity. And then when we're sick and we just don't feel good long term, it can be really hard to convince somebody that they are better, that they're doing better. So when we have the tests in place and we retest, and they can see that what they've been doing, the money they're spending, the effort they're putting in, moved those markers in the direction we want it to go, sometimes they move in a just a completely unexpected direction. You know, the body's complicated. The healing process is complicated. But either way, in black and white, they can see change. So they start to identify with, hey, what I'm doing is working. It's like fishing. You fish it out and you're casting it in. I am making a difference. Something that I'm doing is going in my favor. Now, when we say that, we also have to come in to the place in our healing journey where we're taking personal responsibility for the things we were doing not working and being the bulk of the problem. Oh, I often, when I tell my story about root causes and what my root cause was, like the root to the root of the root cause to my chronic illness was me, right? It wasn't necessarily mold, it wasn't necessarily toxins, it wasn't necessarily my genetics. It was me. It was what I didn't know, what I was naively eating, what I was naively just doing, just living life like a normal human being. This genetic test, my results, it looks at your circadian rhythm, and genetically, I've got the double whammy. My genetics want me to be a night person. My circadian rhythm genes are off, which that it's not just bad habits. So I have to try really hard to put myself to bed by 10. And there is no morning person that is just waiting to bloom out of me. Like genetically, it's not there. So I do still know and understand that even though my biology is not wired that way, trying to force it to live with the sun and with the rhythm of the day is important to the rest of me. It's important to that cortisol. It's important to everything else working right. So sometimes, for me, it was like, yeah, okay, this isn't just bad habits. It's for real. I'm genetically inclined to be backwards, to be a night person. So all those things are so interesting. And maybe that's just my nurse brain. How we like to nerd out on the science, and I'm like somewhere in the middle. I don't like anything uber complicated and whatnot. I'm like that. Keep it down here, keep it real. Try not to talk over my head. I'll try not to talk over yours, kind of thing. And what really matters to me, or what really matters to you, is can you apply it to your daily life? Like, what what does this look like? Keeping in mind that things do go into remission, or things do get triggered, especially when we have long-term chronic infections like Epstein-Barr virus or Lyme disease, which we're hearing so much on social media about Lyme disease. And for me, it's always been there. When I'm never gonna spend the money on blood testing for Lyme. It's so fickle. It's really fickle and can be false negative, or it can just be wrong. So when we look at that from a bioenergetic standpoint, um, it's there. And I don't know why the media is talking about it so much now. I have some ideas about it and what might be coming, but you know, probably 2 years ago or so, I had a granddaughter that was full of bites, and that's when an antibiotic course can really make a difference when it's treated right away. And no, I'm definitely not the first person just to run for antibiotics, but when tick bites are treated early and treated appropriately, that's where chronic disease is prevented. That's where you treat it early so you don't end up with autoimmune disease when you're 30 or when you're 20 or whatever. So, again, that being said, in looking at what we were talking about earlier with genetics, or looking about what we were talking about earlier about how you could have 100 people that all got the same vaccine, but they all had different reactions or different levels of reactions. That the same goes for a tick bite, or West Nile, a mosquito bite, or Epstein-Barr, the monovirus. That those things affect the majority of the population. I believe those things are in us all. The difference is, how is your body equipped to handle that stressor? Your immune system, your train, your methylation, your detoxification, the all of that is about you and your body, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but my body, I've got that Epstein-Barr, and I didn't know that until I started my healing journey, and I did blood work to test for old or latent viruses. I mean, who knows when I had it, whether I was a young kid or a high schooler. Epstein-Barr is, hashtag monovirus. But that is something that it wants to live in your thyroid. It is for most, I would say, the general population who has Hashimoto's thyroiditis, they've got latent Epstein-Barr, and they're just connected. That wants to live in the thyroid. So then it's up to your body, it's up to your immune system to try to regulate it. That regulation is gonna really depend on the other things that are going on in your body, your other stressors, your seasons of life. They all matter. So that can trigger into a flare or it can be in remission. And we don't get to choose. We don't get to choose when it's up or when it's down. It's just something that when we're aware of it, when we have tools, we can try to manipulate the circumstance. We can try to manipulate the train. We can support the immune system and that type of thing. So, again, I've said so many times autoimmune disease is not your body attacking itself. Um, my body is not attacking my thyroid. It's desperately trying to protect me from something that should not be in it, right? So it's trying to clean out what shouldn't be there. Arthritis, that's autoimmune and it's in your joints. Your body is not attacking your joints. There's something in that synovial fluid that needs to be cleaned out. Maybe it's parasite, maybe it's candida, maybe we can help your body to clean itself. Maybe it's toxins, maybe it's glyphosate. It really doesn't matter what it is. The process of assisting the body in the cleanup process is the same. It doesn't matter if it's a toxin, if it's a germ, a parasite. It doesn't matter. It's all handled the same way. It doesn't matter what the disease, what the diagnosis, it's all handled the same way. Supporting the body starting way down low with your mitochondria and then reducing inflammation. Even before we bring in too many support supplements, reducing that inflammation first, supporting the mitochondrial first, so the body can do the work to calm, opening your drainage pathways. Most people are way more backed up than they think. So just being constipated isn't the only way that you can be backed up. But most people way more backed up than they think. The gut backs up to the lymph and even eventually the lymphatic system can become backed up. So the steps to healing are methodical, are methodical. The training that I've done, the extensive training, extensive healing, and experimentation. It's been over the last 7 years. It's been an amazing journey. So I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say for today. Other than it's going to be a great summer. I don't know about you, but wherever you are, make it awesome. Make it last. We wait all winter to complain about being too hot, right? And yeah, believe me, I complain. But sweating is really good for you. Stay hydrated. Minerals, minerals, minerals. Most people are going into this summer underhydrated. The majority of people are walking around dehydrated. We see it in their blood work, we see it in their skin. So that's we have great hydration products here. One of our favorite clients, she just came in the other day and asked if I had this certain electrolytes mix that she loves. I found it, and she knows what all the good stuff is. She knows about all the good stuff. So we can always do one more choice of hydration option in the summer. It's so important, so much more important than you realize. So, especially if you're going out and you're sweaty, you can't depend on tap water, you can't depend on distilled water. You've got to be replacing those electrolytes. And please, Lord help us, don't drink the Gatorade, don't drink those nasty over the counter electrolyte drinks. You can easily Google ChatGPT a recipe. If you don't want to come in and buy it from us, you don't have to, but make your own. Get some good Celtic sea salt a little real sugar, like your coconut sugar, cane sugar, and you can buy like powdered lemon or just squeeze a lemon into it if you need flavor. Squeeze an orange into it, squeeze a lime into it if you need that flavor. You can easily make your own electrolytes and stay away from that yuck junk bottled stuff. It is it is maybe in certain circumstances it's better than being completely dehydrated. But at the end of the day, like, you can do better. You deserve better and you can do better. For IVs locally here, I just got a call today asking if we did IVs. We don't anymore. Years ago, we did. I refer people over to Revival IV in Watford City. They have an amazing business there. Cassie has so many awesome equipment, but her IVs, you can usually walk in and get an appointment. If you're feeling just kind of funky or just kind of yucky, it's a good idea. Just go get an IV. Even if you don't spend a bunch on the extras that go in it, the vitamins or whatever, just the bag of fluid alone you'll just be like, well, wow, that that was obvious. That was obvious. I feel better. Sometimes if you just are not thirsty and you go get a bag of IVs, for some reason, it kind of brings your thirst mechanism back again. Not too long ago, I talked to a gal and she was she was talking about coming in working with me, but she wasn't ready. Anything I was saying, she was combating with a yeah, but I can't do this, or yeah, but I can't do that. And she, all she drinks is Coke, a cola, will not drink water and just Coke. And what can I do for a person in that situation that won't drink water and won't give up Coke? I don't know what to do. Like, I'm at a loss. I have no magic wand. And then, and that makes me think, a few years ago, I had a lady who came in with absolute terrible chronic constipation, but she would not consider, even for a week, going off dairy, going off gluten, wouldn't even consider it. And she was probably upper 50s, 60s. I mean, talk about stubborn. She's sitting here telling me it's been a problem her whole life. She's been constipated her whole life, but there's no way it could be because of how she eats. What do I do with that? That's someone who's not ready. Like, we have to be in a place where we assume that what we've been doing that got us not feeling well might be the problem. We might have to try some things different. So you can be looking forward to seeing me post about a 5-day fresh challenge. And summer is the perfect time to do that. Things are in season, especially going into the fall. I think we'll start it in June and we'll do the first week of each month of the summer. And it's simple, 5 days fresh. That's it. For 5 days, you do not eat anything that has got a food label. I mean, I guess if you're unfortunate, you have to buy meat at the grocery store and there's that food label on it, that's fine. But fresh only. So vegetables, fruit, meat, water, Like iced tea would be fine, sun tea. And I know technically fruit has a label, but you get what I mean. 5 days where you're just eating fresh. What a good challenge, right? I think our bodies will thank us. So we're going to be doing that through the summer. Follow along primarily on Facebook for that information. I'm not going to like start a private Facebook group for that or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I could do a landing page and send out an email, I guess, every 5 days. I could even throw in like some recipes, but I shouldn't have to. Like even your spices, if they've got a big label, they count. You don't do them. So just 5 day fresh challenge. Be looking forward to that. So thanks for being here. Like, share, and help me out with that algorithm that doesn't think that my content is worth sharing.